Safety, comfort. These are probably two of the most important functions or features of a motorcycle for every rider. So let's talk about two of the modifications or accessories we had added on to our 2017 Road Glide. What's up guys, welcome back to Mike It Yourself, and as I mentioned, safety and comfort. So that said, let's talk about comfort first. If you recall, a couple of months back we installed the Benlari quick release backrest. Prior to having this seat or this backrest on there, I actually had a different model from Benlari that I was utilizing, and it worked great. There was nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't as convenient as this model is. And what I mean by that is, for the other model, once you had it adjusted, you had to do a set screw to the post when you know, depending on how high you wanted it or how low. And then that meant if you wanted to take it off to remove it for any reason, you actually had to pull the pin, remove the backrest, and then remove your seat to get to the set screw to be able to remove that post for the backrest. So, you know, if you didn't have to remove it often, it's not a bad deal. I don't think it's a bad deal based on cost alone. But I have to say this model is much more convenient in that all you have to do is pinch it and you can remove it right out of the backrest or right out of the seat. You don't have to do all of the extra steps, and then it's easier to adjust. So you've got the two pins here and the multiple pin holes within your mount there. So if you need a little bit higher support for the ride that you're on, you can put it at its very top one, or if you feel like you need that lower, more like lumbar support, then you just squeeze it and you drop it down even further depending on what your preference is, and then once it's locked in, you're good to go. I don't have to make the case for how comfortable a backrest is on long rides. If you've done them, you know it is a world of difference and something it's a must-have. So if you're looking for a backrest and you don't want to pay, you know, a tremendous amount of money from the Harley-Davidson dealership because they are kind of pricey, a good economic solution is the Benlari backrest. And if you're looking for convenience, spend the extra couple of bucks, I think it is, in price difference from the model that I had to this model. It's just much more convenient. So definitely worth its money, that's for sure. So I recommend check out their website. They're on Amazon, Benlari, Benlari, and I will send the link in the description. Let's talk about safety. LED lights are cool. LED lights are way cooler when they help you get seen and not hit by some person in a cage because they're not paying attention. That's where these guys come in. So these are the LEDs from, and I don't know how to say their name, but I'll put the link in the description. HD something or those under saddlebag LED set. They're awesome. They work great. I have had no problems with the LEDs. Now, of course, time will tell, right? Because they are the individualized LEDs. It is possible for one of those to go out. So I'll have to kind of wait and see on it. They are the run, brake, and turn models. So you get the flashing when you hit the brakes, you get the flashing when you're turning, and then of course they're always on at the lower light level, and that's huge, right? They are well displayed. I was kind of wondering, like, them being so low and underneath, if that would really pay off, but at night, or even if you get a little bit of distance from it, you can clearly see those. So no problem there. Installation was very easy. It is using just the red tape, which, you know, if you know any of the double-sided tape, that red tape is super strong. There were some gaps, so depending on your bags, and I found with my saddlebag caps, and that's the caps that make my saddlebags a little bit lower, the extensions, it seemed to conform to that angle better than it did the stock saddlebag. So just as a heads up, you're going to see some gaps. If you watch the video, and I'll put it here on the end, On the installation of those, you know, all we had to do was just add that tape strategically, and there have been no problems, and you don't see any gaps at all. Even when you walk up to it, I mean, you really, like somebody would have to lay on their side and truly inspect your bike to find any flaw in those lights. So again, another huge win, and for a relatively decent price. All right, guys, so comfort, safety. Like I said, arguably probably the two most important features on a motorcycle. There's so many other things that are really nice to have, but safety being that top one. You want to be seen, and while you're going out for those long rides, while you are traveling, you want to be comfortable. Benlari, the guys who made the LEDs, you know, I think they're great products. I'll link them in the description so you know which ones I got, so that way if you want to get the exact same things. The LEDs I bought myself, my own money. Benlari, I bought the first seat, and they received my feedback that, you know, I think this is a little bit better model, and they were kind enough to provide us this to review for you all, so that way I can give you my input on what I thought about this. And like I said, the convenience alone is 100 times worth the money. So makes it so easy just to adjust it. I really should have just bought this one right off the bat. So hopefully this input helps you make your decision on which one to buy if you're on the fence about it. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, I'd love to have you as a member of the community. Please subscribe, and until my next video does come out, I hope to see you in the win.